to fully reach the depths of my mind into the mass of information on Earth, and I extracted the core problems with a lot of help. And for the last 4 years, I've been consolidating the solution. For the last 2 years straight, obsessively, I have laid out a blueprint and groundwork for how this might be achieved with multiple contingencies and fail-safe mechanisms. We're living in the age of the advent of AI, which the only question of it progressing to general intelligence or superintelligence is 1, whether we make it, and 2, how long will it be? But assuming we make it, it will come about. There's also a lot of other factors like a record high population, leading to the most human problems there's ever been, except across history total. But there's also just many poly-crises facing us all, facing those we love, who brought us into this world, and those who we leave this world to one day, entrusting them to it and it to them. As a result of this, I felt it was my duty and obligation to share this to the tune of 10% of my current net worth. I've woven in a way that is theoretically workable and as feasible as a general conjecture. If you hand it off to Elon Musk, there's a good chance he might just solve and crack it, but it'll probably be a multi-generational effort. It's for the highest reward. It's designed that way. The intention and design of it is such that human will be linked inextricably to this superintelligence. If I had to sum it up in short, the solution is to turn Earth into a brain. You'll see what I mean. I've made a whole philosophy out of this at this stage in the game. I've nearly come to the point of death multiple times on account of its own progression and because I pushed myself exceptionally hard. Or it could be said it's miraculous I'm still alive to share this with you. I plan to make a movie about it, write a book, and try to weave it into an anime of some kind. But by then, you probably won't know who I am anymore. I'll have completely vanished as a figure. So until then, should you choose to dive into this and investigate it and see what you think, see what you can take away from it. Again, what I honestly and in good faith tell you is a similar cost of time to watch a new Marvel show. But the return on your investment and the yield for everyone you care about could be so much potentially greater. I don't know if I'll still be here. The toll on my body has been astronomical. My mind is still healing from having been shattered in many ways. But I left what I could. There's a blueprint for any architect who should choose to try and find it. As I've laid it out rather clearly, all that is left to you is to find the exact method. If you find the ideas appealing or persuasive in the least, please share them with everyone that you know that is good as a receiving candidate for the overall spirit and theme and mood of the message. You'll know who's the type to latch onto this. I implore you, beg you even, because it might be our only hope. If you don't really care, I can't blame you. I know the reaches of the pit of darkness, but it was only right, and it was only the least I could do to pay respect to my 2 years and fragments of my lifespan shaved off for it. So I've decimated, literally, my savings by 1/10 and in order to present you with this. The playlist is in the description. There are also a whole lot of other ones currently in development, and weave together like 1,000 days of videos, some of which were big bursts. Full auto, if you will. There will be a landing video on YouTube that will act as a key or directory that can take you whichever way you want to go. So I will be fleshing out the playlist more and more, so expect more content to appear. Maybe one day, if God should find favor and spare me lucky, I can spread this message to the masses at length and breadth and depth. Then you can be hipster and say you knew about turning Earth into a loving, biological, superintelligent planet brain before it was cool. And you'll get a lot of swag for that. Wow, I definitely wasn't raised in 2012. I definitely didn't read that off my own little teleprompter. I'm gaslighting you openly, you can trust me. Now, go if you choose to accept. Embark on your quest. It's no exaggeration to say that the fate of the world is at stake. No pressure, though. Yes, the lives of trillions may be hinging in the balance. There's that brain damage. That is not how you say that. Or it was not using hinging correctly. But look at it this way. I'm generally a pessimist. But if you take this perspective, you can at least say some of it was put voluntarily into your hands. So like you had some sway or influence or say or control over all this. That's better. That gives a choice back to you. That restores the freedom of the soul that should be given. I can only hope one day. Maybe there will be a utopia. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. This was just the highest I could toss them. So I hope it lands well for you. I hope it makes sense if you look into it, and I hope it makes a difference. And if it doesn't, well, I suppose if the world is a bad harvest, we reap what we sow. And it's not so bad to lose something so terrible after all. No one cries over fruit that was rotten. But you have the chance to, you have the potential to, but I'm not going to purify and cleanse and make beautiful anew the nourishment of this world upon which the basis of our existence itself is founded. I believe in you. You can do this. I'll try to really hard. Don't you worry. Don't worry, you're pretty late about it. But I am asking you to do that. Anyway, generally you don't get so close when you're parting ways. Goodbye. Peace. Live it up. Godspeed. We'll send it, dude, on your hero's journey, wherever it ends up taking you. I wish you all the best. Much love. Bless up. Stay up. Peace. Alright, so now that the main core of the message is wrapped up, I'm gonna attempt to put it in the comments, in the description, everywhere I can. Those are about my only 2 options. So far, I'm currently working on trying to trim down and curate the ones that are sort of more so for my personal life, trying to figure out what the best way to go about those ones is currently. But that said, there's already a whole bunch of public playlists available on my channel itself. So you would just want to find those, and those are really good for like self-directed guided study sessions in little increments. I'm gonna like reorder them, to see them in numbers and based on order of importance. And those will contain some really devastating critiques and arguments just against the logistical like working factors of the world. And it's not really to even touch on the astounding levels of pain everyone suffers and is in. Kind of trying to work on that, but understandably, maybe I'm not super thrilled about pursuing that. I sort of consider myself what would happen if you genetically spliced a hybrid Christian with an atheist. I was totally an atheist, except I felt like God gave this to me. And then I thought God was evil and was definitely the Gnostic demiurge. And then I saw Jesus. Weird story. I'm going to work on recreating that in AI, and that's going in the last of the playlist that's going to be listed here in this little mini index, which is like a bunch of matters that deal with, if not outright spiritual, definitely weird, ethereal, like esoteric truths that I've encountered that are really hard to argue against, and it feels like it was by design, so it would like steelman my argument, which I didn't make myself. I just encountered things, reckoned and beheld them, and I was like, bro. As for the other stuff, it was subject to refined, like sharpening, and prolonged periods of my fine-tooth comb studying big elaborative leap jumps. And a lot of it is really emotionally charged, because if I'm average in every other way, intelligence and personality, all of it, the things I am exceptional in, for better or worse, are verbal genius, general overall creative ability. Those two don't always go hand in hand. So you get like really socially awkward engineers who can write up a complicated diagram, but like can't ask someone out. I could, in theory. I just also can't ask someone out. It's another reason to trust me because I've invested myself fully into this. It is promising. I'll say that much. I'm also really negatively laden with bad emotion. It's actually my second strongest quality, period. Oh, I know the dread impact of it. I exceed equally in being like good and evil. For the plot, I'm being a hero, but for personal reasons, I am a crash out villain at times in the verbal discourse of this all. We'll see. There's also other thoughts I've formulated so you can get acquainted with if I'm worth it or not. But mainly it's the core of the idea, the supporting study guides, miscellaneous assorted stuff so you can get familiar with the author, and then paranormal things